Hello there, it's Patti Behan, and today I'm going to be making this beautiful autumn greetings card using some Wendy Vecchi products. First off, she has a new stamp die stencil set that comes with stamps, dies, a stencil, and in this release we even have some masks that are included in the set. And I'll also be using some Wendy Vecchi Make Art Blendable Dye Inks, archival inks, and the Wendy Vecchi Make Art Station. So let's get started. Okay, to begin, I have a piece of Wendy Vecchi Perfect White cardstock, and I'll be using the pumpkin stamp to start off. I'll place it on my acrylic block and then ink it up with some jet black archival ink. And then I'm going to stamp it 3 times. And each time I stamp it, I'm going to re-ink the stamp. Okay, once that's done, I'm going to take the next stamp and I'm going to choose a leaf, and I think I'm going to use this one right here. And I'm placing it on the acrylic block, and again I'm going to ink it up with jet black archival ink, and we're going to stamp this 4 different times and inking up the stamp in between each stamping. Okay, once that's done, just set it aside. And next I'm going to take this bird here and place it on the acrylic block and get another piece of cardstock. And I just wanted to mention there probably could be room to place it on there, but I'm just going to use another piece of cardstock just in case. So I'll stamp that on there, and then I'm going to take the autumn greetings saying and again place that on the block. And I'm going to put this in the corner because I'm going to cut that out, and then I only have to cut out 2 edges to make it straight. And once that's done, I think we're finished with our stamping. And next we're going to color in all the shapes. So I'm going to go ahead and take the stencil. And the great thing about this is that you match it up with your stamped image, and then you can color it in without messing up the edges. So it matches perfectly on there, and once you get it placed in the right position, you put on the magnets, and then we're ready to color it in. I'm going to start by using Sunflower Blendable Dye ink, and I store my foam pad on the back with a piece of Velcro, and I'll stick it onto my blending tool, and I'll get some ink onto the foam. And I'm just going to color in the whole pumpkin except for the stem. And now I'm going to repeat this same color on all the pumpkins. And you could do 1 pumpkin at a time, but I'm just, so I don't have to change my foam back and forth, I like to do it this way. And now we're going to color in the stem. And to do that, I'm going to use the acorn ink and the detail blending tools. And I like to label what the color is so I can use these over and over again. So I'm going to take off the lid and get some ink on the tool and go ahead and color in the stem. And I'll repeat that on the rest of the pumpkins here. And then next I'm going to take the poppy ink, and again I'm going to use a detail blending tool, and I'm just going to color in the edge of the pumpkin and maybe a little bit like on the top. And you can do each one a little different, so you have some variations in your shading. Okay, next we're going to take Orange Blossom and again use a fine detail blending tool. And you can see I marked what that color is. And then we're going to add a little bit more on the edge again. And just to make it a little darker, so you can see the variation in color, and it just makes it look very dimensional. And now I'm going to take the acorn and I'm just going to put a little bit more at the top near the stem. Okay, now let me bring this up a little closer so you can see how it came out. And now I'm going to do the leaves. And I'm just wiping off my stencil so I don't get ink all over my cardstock here. So again, you're going to match up the leaf and put your magnets on there. And same thing, we're going to start with the lighter colors first. Prickly Pear first, using my detail blending tool. Again, I marked it for you. And just color in all the leaves with that first. Next color is Fern Green. And then I'm grabbing my tool again. And then I'm kind of just going in the middle with that and leaving the edges lighter. And then I'm going to add some poppy because it's fall and the leaves are turning colors. So a little red will do good. And just make each one a little different to give it its own character. And then when you're done, it looks like that. And now we're going to cut these out so we can get ready to assemble our card. And I'm going to take the coordinating die and put it into the die cutting machine. And I'm just going to show you cutting out this one, how it turns out. And I'm going to come back and we'll have them all cut out. Okay, so now we have all the shapes cut out and we're ready to assemble the card. And I'm using a Wendy Vecchi Perfect card, and I've already cut out the bird. There's no matching die for that one, so I cut that out by hand. And now I'm going to cut out the autumn greetings, and I'm just making like a little flag. So cut it out in a rectangle and then cut a V onto the other edge like so, and I'll bring that up a little bit closer so that you can see it. And now we're going to ink this with the Sunflower Blendable Dye Ink and use the mini ink blending tool. We'll get some ink onto the foam and then just color that in. And I'm going on the edges too to just make that stand out just a little bit more. And once that's done, just put that aside for now. And I'm going to take some Wendy Vecchi washi tape, and I'm going to put one piece on the top and one piece on the bottom here. And to do that, you just stick it on there and then trim off the edges. And now I'm just placing all my pieces to see where I want them to land. And I'm thinking that looks good. And it's sort of bothering me about these white edges a little bit, So I think I'm going to go ahead and trim off the ones that are on top of a dark spot, because the ones that land on the white kind of disappear, so I don't have to trim those off, but the others I want to just take it off a little bit. Okay, I think that looks good now. And you don't have to trim off the white edges, but it just was bothering me a little bit, so I decided to do that. Okay, and now we're ready to glue everything down. First, I'll take the Letter It double stick tape and glue down my sentiment. And now I'm gonna take Perfect Card adhesive with a Ranger fine tip applicator, and I'm gonna squeeze out a little of the glue and glue down the bird. And now I'm gonna glue down the pumpkins, but first I'm gonna use my magnets to hold them in place before I start gluing, because I don't know about you, but I think this is the hardest part. Once you decide where you want all your pieces to land, and then you have to glue them, I'm always afraid I'm not gonna remember how I did it. So these magnets are a lifesaver. And then I'll just start at the bottom and work my way, gluing down all the pieces. And also you can leave the magnets on there till the glue dries as well. So then there you have it. You have this beautiful fall greeting card. Or you could change the sentiment and it would make a nice birthday card too. So I hope you enjoyed this project, and if you'd like to make it, there's a link in the description box for the supply list below. And also, if you'd like to see more videos, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thanks for taking the time to join me today, and I'll see you next time.